What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Litecoin today. It is the 23rd day of December, and here we are sitting at about $77 with, we got about 8 days left in this month here. Closing to somewhat of a red effect here. And on that note, I'm starting off on this monthly time frame because we actually haven't seen in a very long time since, let me see here. Since the bear market in 2017 to 2018, I'm sorry, we haven't seen 4 red monthly closes in a row. Now we've seen 1 and then a green and then 3 reds in a row. We haven't seen 4 red monthly closes in a row since this bear market here. We're also in this large accumulative channel here, and we're at the base of it. I don't know. Feels like we're in a very obvious point to accumulate some Litecoin before it sends higher. That's just my thoughts. I wanted to make this video yesterday. I meant to make it yesterday. I forgot to. I promised my grayscale friends I would. So hopefully a lot of you guys, hopefully the grayscale people are watching this video. Shout out to the grayscalers. But we are going to do some long-term stuff. We're going to do some short-term stuff as well. So let's just get into it. Okay, hit the like button. Here we go. I want to start off with the short term. We'll work our way back to the long-term stuff, okay? Looking at this on the daily time frame, we're not going to get into the 1 hour or the 4 hour. We're just going to look at the daily time frame here. You look at this here, you've got a double bottom in your RSI, slightly higher low here, and you have a lower low here. It's almost like a double bottom in the price and a double bottom in the RSI, but you have bullish divergence with it too. I can't help but think we will move higher from here. Not to mention the bullish divergence you have on your MACD and the stochastics. Coming out of the oversold zone like this, I would expect to move up. I do believe that Litecoin's next move is higher from here, not lower. I don't believe we go below this low, but anything can happen. Not a financial advice, not a financial advisor, anything can happen. Let's look at the 3-day time frame real quick on that note. Look at that bullish divergence, just immense bullish divergence on the 3-day time frame here on this MACD. I mean, you're going to see something fierce, man. Litecoin here pretty soon. You're just going to snap one day. You're going to be back above $100. Right, you're at 77 bucks. You're going to make a move like that. It's going to take you to like $110, $100, somewhere in between there. You'll probably consolidate. They continue to rally. That'd be the expectation that I have here. Maybe by the end of the year we move up here. Maybe by the end of the year Litecoin's back above 100, and then we start off 2026 consolidating a little bit, pulling back, finding a higher low, and then we continue to build. That's kind of the idea that I have right now for Litecoin. Okay. If we look at this on a monthly scale, I mean, it's very obvious. Litecoin for, the past couple of cycles, for the past like 8 years now, 7 years at least, has been in this rather large triangular pattern, right? Resistance here, support here. It's like an ascending channel all the way up, and we are clearly at the base of this trend line, finding support now, right? Beyond just this pattern in itself being a large form of consolidation on what was a very large move to the upside, beyond that in itself, if we just look at this here, from our last like bull market high, right? Bull market high to our bear market lows, what we've been doing is just accumulating. This is typically what we see in times of accumulation. And when we accumulate, it's slow, methodical buying over a long period of time to suck up the supply so that whenever you've had your fill, when it's time to break, you get a very dramatic break. And I would expect, and fully do expect, that Litecoin here at some point in Q1 will break out of this channel and either take us to the top of this pattern overall, we'll go back up to this area of resistance, or potentially break out to new all-time highs as well. Okay, so that's the two kind of outcomes that I foresee happening. If we take this high from back in 2017 to the low here of that bear market, there's a lot of sense to be made out of stopping at the 886, which is about a 3.5x from here. There's a lot of sense to be made from stopping at our $400 level, and that's about a 4, almost a 5x from here. If we were to break out and push higher, likely we would stop somewhere between $800 and $1,200. I don't see Litecoin from here breaking out of this channel and one fell swoop moving up to $1,200. I don't think it's that simple. I could see us moving in one fell swoop up to $800. I could see a very spectacular move that takes us up to $800. That really could happen. And you might be thinking, C-Zar, that's a 10x, almost an 11x move from here. That's crazy. What are you smoking? Bro, we've been consolidating for over 7 years now. We've been consolidating for like 8 years at this point, I think. And on top of that, you've got this very massive accumulative channel here. I just I think that you're so suppressed. I mean, there's, again, if I'm right in assuming this, that there is accumulation going on here and the supply is getting sucked up, you should have no problem moving up to this level, right? In one fell swoop, you should have no problem doing it. And that's why I wanted to talk about the long term stuff, is because we really don't know what to expect with Litecoin. I think anybody investing in Litecoin now would be happy with a $270 price to a $370 price, something above $400 around this area. I think anybody would be happy with that. But the reality is, that's just the low end of what's a probable outcome, right? We're going to stop somewhere between $270 and $1,200. It's a big range. But I'm under the impression that what we're going to see is a breakout that will take us just above these highs. So $800 really does look appetizing, to say the least. Let's see. If we're looking at this, I don't want to continue. Oh, no. I don't. What is going on here? What the heck? Look, I can't go. What the heck, man? Let's try this. There we go. Is that better? All right. I don't know what just happened there. I forget where my train of thought was. Oh, yeah, I wanted to measure this here. Wanted to see this high to low here. You know, if we don't stop, I mean, that 1272 is so close to that one. It makes a lot of sense that $800 would be a good target to have. If not there, then let's just see from this high to this low. Is this low something that we can depend on? I don't even know. It looks like you're respecting it, and in which case the 1414 is a target there, potentially. It looks like you're showing some respect on these levels. Support at the 886, resistance on the 1272. Support on the 100. It looks like you're respecting it to some degree. If that's the case, maybe you go somewhere in between and you go all the way up to $514. And with these 1414 targets, typically you do wick above there. So $500, $600. It's completely possible that Litecoin will break out of this to the upside here in one fell swoop and see new all-time highs. But regardless of how high we go, we are at the base of this channel now, okay? Likely the next attempt up here, you see how what we have here, oh, come on now, is a flat top, right? Likely what happens next whenever we come up here, we will likely break through that area, and that's a very significant area. It's almost like this is our last call, all aboard. Invest while we're below this level, because when we break above this level, which we have weakened tremendously over the year of 2025, we've hit this level a bunch of times. This is very, very, very weak at this point. The next time we touch it, I don't just think we're going to form a higher high as we have. I think we're going to break out. And being at the base of this channel, there's a very promising opportunity for anybody who's looking to invest in Litecoin, right? I mean, crypto's been kind of dull and boring over the past year, especially. Litecoin is about to get really, really exciting. I mean, I think at a minimum you're going to see a 3.5x, potentially to a 4.5x, 5.5x. At most, you could see an 11x move or something in between. There's just a lot of potential here, and I'm very excited for Litecoin. I want to go over another chart real quick, and this was the chart that I meant to go over for the grayscalers specifically. It's the Litecoin Bitcoin chart, okay? LTC to BTC. Now, this doesn't have the all-time history. I don't think it does, but it's got a lot of it, okay? This wick here was a scam wick, the same way that this wick here was a scam wick. So I'm going to act like this wick doesn't exist. I'm going to act like that wick doesn't exist, okay? Why? Because this wick would have never happened if the exchanges were open. How do we know that? Well, the exchanges were closed and went all the way down here. By the time the exchanges opened again, we were back up here. So it's fake. It's totally fake. I'm not cherry picking. I'm not coping. It's just as fake as this wick is, right? I wouldn't incorporate this in my analysis. I'm not incorporating this in my analysis, okay? Anyways, with that moving on, or with that, let's move on. Litecoin versus Bitcoin has been in a very terrible downtrend. You've been in an absolutely sad existence for most of your life. We've seen a couple of coins, Zcash and Dash, which also had tremendous downtrends, and they broke out of their downtrends recently this cycle, right? For a long time, I was assuming Litecoin would move up and we would find resistance here, but with the newfound momentum that we've seen in some of these legacy coins like Dash, like Monero, like Stellar Lumens, like XRP, like Zcash, it gives me hope. Not that Litecoin will just move up here, but that we can actually break through this kind of downward sloping trend that we have. As have as just like XRP did, Zcash, XMR, XLM, Dash, they all broke out of their downward sloping channels more or less. So with that in mind, if we take this high here to a low, and not the fake out low, not the scam wick low, but the actual low here, my expectation was originally that we'd find resistance at the 382. That made a lot of sense. But now I think that Litecoin's going to go up to the golden ratio. I'm very, very convinced that Litecoin is going to go to the golden ratio. We look at this on a monthly time frame. You've got bullish divergence. Okay, bullish divergence on your RSI, bullish divergence on your stochastics. Your MACD has bullish divergence as well, tremendous bullish divergence. You look like you're in a catalyst moment where a significant shift is about to happen. Your MACD is about to cross above the zero with this next move up. The last time that we had the MACD cross above the zero, you saw in a 3-month time frame from a low to a high, you saw 7x versus Bitcoin. To put that in proportion here, you would go right up to your golden ratio with that same movement. Okay, bullish divergence on your monthly RSI, your monthly stochastics, and your monthly MACD all together. Okay. The last time that you crossed above the zero on the MACD, you saw 700 or 7x, a 600% move. That same move from here would take you to your golden ratio. I think I'm connecting the dots. I feel like it's appropriate. My genuine assumption is that Litecoin will see something around its golden ratio level. We will see something around 0.068 to 0.087 of a Bitcoin. And that's all great. That's fun. That's great. What does that mean for the price? Right? What does that mean? And could we go higher? This, in my opinion, this is actually a good kind of standard. We could see more than that standard. We absolutely could. Maybe we don't stop here. Maybe we push higher and we find resistance where we found resistance before. Maybe that's exactly what we do. Let's see. From a high here to a low here, whenever we did push higher, where did we go? We stopped, well, we stopped right at the golden ratio. We stopped right at that golden ratio. We did push up a little bit past that, but to be fair, we stopped right at the golden ratio. This might be a very fair assumption, but the 786, 886 shouldn't be discounted either, okay? If we stop at 66% of 1% of a Bitcoin or 85% of 1% of a Bitcoin, imagine Bitcoin by the end of this cycle, by the end of 2025, or 2026, I'm sorry, goes to the fabled targets of $500,000, which that's ultimately where I think, and I've been saying this since 2023, I think Bitcoin's cycle ending high will be at $500,000. I don't think the cycle's over. I do think that we continue to $500,000. If Bitcoin gets to 500K, 0.5% of 500K is $2,500. We would be moving up to something around 66% of a percent to 85% of a percent. That's not quite 2 or 1%. 1% would be $5,000, right? On 500,000, 1% would be $500,000 or $5,000. So something less than $5,000 might make sense for Litecoin. We look at LTC USD. We take our high to our low, and we've got targets at, again, this is kind of our initial target area, but we've got targets at $2,100 to $4,500. Those are targets that are completely appropriate based off of what we've seen here with Litecoin to BTC. If we see something past the golden ratio up to the 786, 886, well then very likely we see something that's above $5,000, potentially even above $6,000. The statistical probability of going any higher than that is very small, very, very low. We likely, in other words, will not see a $13,000 Litecoin. But there is a strong chance that we stop somewhere in this range between 2,100 and 4,500, being that this is 2 cycles out. This is the cycle high from 2 cycles ago and the cycle low from 2 cycles ago. These levels might not be as widely respected, so it's completely possible we could stop somewhere in the middle between 2,100 and $4,500, $4,600. But if we do get that little extra push to the 786, 886 area, it's quite possible that Litecoin does push to this $6,000 to $7,000 level. And we take the high to the low of the last bull market, or the bear market, I should say, I'm sorry. There are targets right there around $7,000, $8,000 we could see as well. And then there are targets here in $3,000 to $4,000, which is encapsulated by this initial range. In other words, guys, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. In my opinion, the most likely area that we stop at for Litecoin by the end of the cycle will be $4,600 to $2,100. It's statistically improbable that $13,000 happens. It's statistically improbable that we stop below $2,000, in my opinion. but there is a small chance. There's like, I don't know what the percentage chance would be, but there is a small chance that we could see $6,000 or more. I'm not holding my breath over that. I wouldn't bet against it. I would definitely bet against 13,000. I don't think we see that, but something between 2,000 to 4,600, I very much am getting behind. I think we will see that at some point here in 2026. And you can correlate that with your LTCN trust if you want to. I've got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.